Welcome to Elena and I doing Medium 73 on a very windy, blustery day at Beacons Equestrian Centre in South Wales. Entry was pretty good and a half decent halt. She was feeling a little bit tense, but the judges all marked a pretty consistent 7. I felt that as I came round the corner I was slightly asking for too much. But the medium trot started quite well. But then, whoa, just after X, we have a little spook due to the flying flowers everywhere. And then I forgot to sit to the trot and covered it up neatly before we then progressed onto the shoulder in. Again here, I'm pushing quite a lot, and sometimes that can make the horse go into their shell, and that's what I felt happened a bit on this circle, that she gets a little bit tricky in the contact and says, "Oh, for God's sake, mother, stop nagging me." But we got good marks here, 7s for the shoulder in, between 6.5 and 7 for the half pass and the circle. On into the next medium trot, and I played it a bit safer. I was looking ahead. I had a really quite round, almost probably a little bit deep, just to stop the spooking, and all was going quite well round the corner. And then that was that flower just there. She gets a little bit tight in the neck and the contact, but again she enjoys the sideways stuff and the shoulder in mixture of 7, 7.5. Slightly better in some ways on this circle, but then she got a little bit deep as we returned to the track. That didn't help the half pass, and I slightly lost the quarters as I came across. Then you've got this tricky transition into the extended walk, but luckily Elena has a very clear, good beat to the walk. Could have had the nose out a little bit, but again scored 7, 7.5 from the judges. They were pretty consistent. The pick up into the collected walk was absolutely fine. She started going a little bit behind my leg, perhaps anticipating the half pirouettes, I'm not quite sure, and I didn't feel that the activity was very good going into this first half pirouette, so we get a bit of a stickiness going on and a mixture of marks, but generally 5.5 and 6. Second one felt slightly better. One judge had a 5, the other two 6.5. On into canter, quarters was slightly curling to the left, and you can see just there slightly left as we go down that short side. And into the circle, my problem here was that she was backing off so much. She was daring me to kick her, and then she would explode. That's her normal thing she would do. So I sat very quietly, just eked out the circle into the half pass, good bend, still kept our 3-beat canter, eased off up the centre line, and that was relatively easy. And then for the simple changes, could have had her a little bit straighter going into this, but quite direct down into walk, a little bit tight up into the canter, but we had 6.5 to 7 for that. Then this is a movement to watch, because from B all the way round, including the medium canter, is all 1 mark. Luckily I felt this was quite a good medium canter, and the judges seemed to think so. So they were 7s across the board, in fact 1 7.5, because the transition back was quite nice too. Because of the medium canter, she was freer in this circle. She was more in front of my leg, and I was thinking, oh, that's a relief. This feels a bit easier now. However, I didn't have the shoulders in front of me at the start of that half pass, then corrected it, slightly over-corrected, I think. And so a mixture of marks from the judge's point of view, 6.5 to 7.5, depending on where they were sitting, into the simple change. And some didn't like the engagement, so 6.5, but 7 from the other two. And again, like the movement the other way, this part of the collected canter and the next medium canter is all one movement. All was going fine here. I had her a little bit curled around to my left because she wanted to stick her bum in, and then I changed the bend too much and my seat, and we get a flying change. So of course that dropped the marks down to a 5 and a 4 and a 6, so disagreement there. Quite nice transition to trot. One judge had me on 6, the other 2 7s. Quite good medium trot and a nice halt. So 3 7s from one judge, 6.5, 7.5 from others, and one picked me up on the abruptness to the halt and gave me a 6. Hope you enjoyed that. The bottom marks for those interested, all 7.5 for paces, 6.5 to 7 for impulsion, 6 to 6.5 for submission, and between 7 and 7.5 for the riding. Hope you enjoyed it.